Hello everyone and welcome into today's video where we are checking out Algorand again because I have a couple of new information which I want to share with you. First of them is a bit of a group chat with the new CEO of Algorand Foundation where she actually comments on those Reddit speculations about CBDC and more. She also gives more background to her previous work at those various institutions, and there also has been a new Algorand wallet announcement. We will get into that in more detail, so if you are confused now, this should probably clear everything out. Also, we'll check out some other news and finally the price chart. So without any further ado, let's get into the group chat right now.
You know, I started out as a development economist. So I was very much an economist. I worked for 7 years for a very famous development economist named Jeffrey Sachs and did a lot of work initially in Latin America. I moved from that increasingly more towards finance, and it became more apparent to me that financial systems need to function properly in order for the private sector to develop, and that there is a virtuous circle that drives prosperity and growth. And that virtuous circle goes like this. People have savings, and instead of having to put those savings in bank accounts where in many countries they earn on a real basis, a negative interest rates on a real basis on their savings, instead of doing that, they could have a well-functioning capital markets and financial markets that would enable them to place their savings where the use of that savings would be most productive in the private sector. That private sector, that savings could then fuel the private sector so that it can grow, hire more people, pay those people better wages. That generates savings. And so people with higher wages have higher savings, and that's the virtuous circle that gets you to growth. So it's a very private sector driven approach to growth. And that was, I think, an evolution for me to really understand that started, when I was at the Harvard Institute for International Development to start. And then I moved to the U.S. Treasury Department. And there's a lot of Reddit chatter, by the way, about me being at the Treasury Department and what that might mean for Algorand and a CBDC. And I will say that I was in the International Debt Office, and I ran debt for developing countries, and I ran debt forgiveness and a bunch of stuff around some of the big issues of the day back then, Argentina blowing up, HIPAA, that kind of thing. So I was not involved in the U.S. dollar part of Treasury. But then from Treasury, I went to the NASDAQ, and I ran the 2 micro-cap markets for the NASDAQ. And again, the kind of the focus there was like small and medium-sized enterprises and how they could get access to capital to grow. And when I left the NASDAQ to go to JP Morgan, again, I ran a public sector practice, which was very focused at the time on Europe and the Middle East. And I really built out that practice in Africa. And again, very much focused on helping governments and other public sector entities build and develop financial markets and financial market systems that were better for financial inclusion and access to capital for small and medium-sized enterprises, and really kind of trying to foster a private sector-led, small and medium enterprise-led approach to growth. So those are the kinds of things that I worked on. And then, I was in London for 6 years, and I came back to the United States, and I was mostly that I just kind of wanted to move back home. And I was then headhunted to the Milken Institute to run the Center for Financial Markets. And there I did a lot of work on, again, the same kinds of issues, financial inclusion, access to capital, and some of the big issues there around, housing finance reform and that kind of thing. And that's where I fell down the rabbit hole of crypto, and spent the last 8 years there. And also there from the Center for Financial Markets, I built out another center called the Center for Global Development, and I did a lot of work again there with emerging markets and developing countries. And then I left after 8 years there, just time to do something new, and here I am.
So from this group chat on Twitter, I think we've got a pretty nice idea about Stacy and her background. Also, we've heard comments about the CBDC, so I think that it is not surprising she is trying to calm down those speculations a bit. She didn't deny anything, strictly speaking, so I still think there could be something behind this new CEO move, but we are not getting more information about it just yet. And now, in one of the major news that that has been happening in the past couple of days. It is the new Algorand wallet, which is called Pera wallet. Basically, it's not any crazy new idea. It's pretty much a rebrand and relaunch of the old Algorand wallet under a new brand. However, they say this is much more than just a new name and logo, because they have this renewed focus and also a brand new roadmap, which we will check out just now. And just before that, they mentioned that have the same team which has been working on the Algorand wallet for the past 3 years. And here we have the roadmap for the next 6 months. So first of all, in Q1 we have this new Pera wallet launch with a fresh look, etc. But also the NFT support with ability to see NFTs in every account, as well as in an aggregated gallery of all NFTs across accounts. I think this is pretty cool because you can look on other people's NFTs as well. And just to add a little bit of a side note to NFTs, here I found Algorand NFT monthly sales by marketplace on Reddit, and we can see that on this graph. By the way, the last one is for February 2022, so we don't have the full data here just yet. However, from the previous performance, I think there is a clear trend with a very nice exponential growth. We can see that just in August 2021 we were under 400,000, maybe even around 300,000 ALGO volume in NFT sales. However, just in January 2022, which is not even 6 months later, we've got almost 3.5 million ALGO volume in NFT sales. And also here you can see a nice categorization by those marketplaces, so we can see ALGO Gems, ALGO X NFT, Rand Gallery or AB2, and also others, so you can monitor the growth pretty nicely. Now back to the Q1, we have MoonPay on-ramp off-ramp integration, so very easy ALGO purchases with your fiat, which is great, and also revamped verification process and public ASA portal for investment research. For the Q2 2022 we have the Dynaman integration for swapping assets directly from within these apps, and also improved governance support with better messaging notifications on governance periods and voting sessions and governance status warnings during transfers. So this is great because, as you know, if you are a ALGO holder, you can also participate in the governance, so this will be improved in this new Pera wallet as well. Also, they want to add aggregated per account and asset specific historical charts and other trading features, which is always great to be able to look in the past on some price action, etc. And then in Q3 we have an added web support, so we will be able to use it directly from your web browser with conjunction with your mobile wallet, and also some other partner integrations within the Algorand ecosystem. Also, they say they are open for their community, so whether it's for a future idea or issues you are experiencing, you can talk to them on Discord, right at the support, or Twitter, or via email to make some changes happen. And then we also have a new update about an Inovate-to-earn game platform being developed in conjunction with Polynice, which I think is pretty cool because it brings people from all over the world the ability to apply creativity to real world missions and then be rewarded for their innovations, which is very similar, for example, to some kind of a university competition where the students as future engineers propose their ideas and innovations in order to win some prizes, but of course push their ideas into the public. And with this, I think we can jump straight into the price chart, where actually I think there has been some pretty important new developments. We can see that we are now quite a bit under this uptrending support line previously, so now it acts as a resistance because we dropped down below here and also did a bit of a retest, so that's quite a bearish sign. Usually the price leads even more down here. However, upon a further inspection here, we can see that down on the momentum indicator we can see a rising momentum with quite a strong buying pressure here, whereas the price has been going pretty much sideways. So I think this might not be a clear picture. For that, I would also jump into the Algorand to Bitcoin ratio and also the Ethereum ratio. So first of all, here we have the Bitcoin ratio where we can see that we are pretty much much right next to this lower support of this massive price channel going all the way back to the summer of 2019. And we can see that this channel is pretty respected by the investors because of those previous tags as a support but also as a resistance over here. So it should be pretty reasonable to expect some kind of a similar behavior here, which could manifest itself in increase in the algo price. However, checking out the Algorand to Ethereum ratio, we can see that we are still in a clear downtrend in this downtrending price channel in comparison to Ethereum specifically, where we are quite close to this upper resistance here, and nothing in this chart, in my opinion, is suggesting that we could break out of this downtrend anytime soon. However, going back to this Bitcoin ratio, what I think it's important to take into consideration is obviously the development in Bitcoin. And if we check out Bitcoin here, we can see that we are now very close to this support line over here, which has been pretty well defined over the past pretty much year or so, along which the price has been going up and down in the past year. And what speaks for Bitcoin now for some bullish sentiment is that we've surpassed this downtrending resistance line previously quite recently, and also we are above this support line now, so there is quite a bit more buying pressure, as we can also see down at the momentum indicator. And I think it's just a matter of time until Bitcoin will start to go up a little bit, at least above this 200-day moving average for the near future, which, going back to the Algorand to Bitcoin ratio, would mean that the algo would drop below this price channel, meaning the Algorand will stay the same but Bitcoin will go higher. Now, this happened one time before here towards the end of 2020, where the Bitcoin has started its run. However, after that it get back into this price channel. So I think even if we drop down below this price channel, we will get back in a couple of months time, which would mean that even though Bitcoin will rise a bit, Algorand would have to rise much more to get back to this price channel and stay in here. So in conclusion, from my point of view, there are a lot of bullish signs actually for Algorand, and this might be just some short time price action. I would be actually very surprised if we drop significantly below this horizontal support line, and in my opinion the price will return at least above this uptrending support line in the next couple of days or weeks. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. If so, you can subscribe for more future crypto content. And with this, I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!